Hey everyone, happy Friday. Today we are going to be in Matthew 14, verse 22 through 27. And that says, "Immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone, but the boat by this time was a long way from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, and said, 'It is a ghost.' And they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, 'Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid.'" So the first thing that sticks out to me in this set of verses is Jesus's first response is to tell them not to be afraid. And there are 365 times that the Bible says do not be afraid, one for every day of the year, which some of you may have heard that fact before. I think that's a pretty cool stat about the Bible. But the fact that one of those is when Jesus is performing this miracle, I think is really interesting because he knows that they're afraid, and his first response is to comfort that fear rather than dismiss it or what's the word? I guess to correct it. He is correcting it in a way by telling them not to be afraid. But I just think it's so beautiful that Jesus is always there to comfort us and offer correction through comfort, not just correction. So our question for day 5 for this week is, how do you think the disciples felt when they first saw Jesus on the lake? Which we can pretty much get the direct answer from the passage, because it says, when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, in verse 26, they were terrified. So pretty much says it. And your translation might have a different word, scared, afraid. But it's pretty clear the type of feeling that they had. And then the question asks, how would you have felt? And I think if I was on that boat, seeing a man walking on the water, especially it was during a storm, so it's going to be kind of dark, lots of rain coming down, it's not going to be very clear what it is that we're seeing, so I would probably think that I was going crazy or someone was playing some kind of a trick or something. I would probably not believe it. I think that would have the feeling of doubt more than fear right away. But yeah, I think I would not immediately think that it was a good thing by any means. I think I would be very confused and maybe a little bit freaked out. But then the last thing, just something to think about wherever you're listening to this or watching this, think about your concept of God and how big or small it is. Do you really believe he is Lord of all creation? So that's a little something for you to think about on this Friday, the end of the week. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Hope you have some fun plans for Thanksgiving next week, and I hope to see you on Sunday.